Hi students, in the last class we discussed on the accounting rules. It means the rules of debit and credit under the English system. Okay, and I hope all of you understand that the rules. Okay, so there are three main rules, or you can say it's the golden rules of the accounting. Okay, so which are those rules of the accounting? So first one is what's the personal rule, real rule, as well as the third one is what's the nominal rule. Okay, and you know the which are those, how to which are those rules. Okay, so what's the personal rule? So debit is the receiver, credit is the giver. Okay, so debit is the receiver, credit is the giver, it is the personal rule. Okay, so what's the real rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so it means what's debit what comes, it means what's whatever the assets comes in a business, it we have to record in the debit side. Okay, if the assets goes out from the business, then it's we have to record in the what's the credit side. Okay, so nominal account. Okay, so nominal account, it's the what's the rule? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. Okay, so it means whatever the expenses and the losses is there, so we have to record under the debit side. Okay, and whatever the income and gains is there, it we have to record in the credit side. Okay, so like this we have to apply these rules. Okay, so as well as we saw the name of accounts and the type of accounts. Okay, so these are the names of accounts, and so these names which type of accounts, which type of accounts it will means either in the personal, either in the real, as well as in the nominal. Okay, so we have to categorized. Okay, and we saw in the last class. Okay, so now these are the name of the accounts and these are the types of the accounts. Okay, so now in this class we will see how to apply the rules. Okay, now we will see how to apply the rules. Okay, so see, after understanding clearly the meaning of transaction, the following steps should be followed. Okay, so it means what? So first of all you should know, so you should understand the meaning of the transactions. Okay, so they will give one transactions in the problem, they will give the transactions. Okay, so these transactions we have to read and we have to understand. First of all we have to understand that transactions. Okay, what's the meaning of the transactions? Okay, so then it will be easy to follow the steps. Okay, so now see, we will see the steps of the how to apply the rules. Okay, so now see, find out which the two accounts affected in the transaction. Okay, so the transactions will give, then you have to understand the transactions, then you have to find out two accounts. Okay, two account means what? So like these accounts they will give. Okay, so like this name of the accounts now. Okay, so out of these two accounts will affect that transaction. Okay, will affect that transaction. Okay, so next step is what? Find out which class the above two accounts belong. Okay, so after ascertaining the type of accounts, okay, out of this type of accounts, then you have to ascertain type of accounts. Okay, so that type of account. Okay, after ascertaining the name of accounts, we have to find out next type of account. It means what? Suppose salary, if it is came the salary account in that transactions, it will come under the which type of account? Nominal account. Okay, like this we have to find out. Okay, so next is third step is what? Apply the respective rules to the above two accounts. Okay, apply the respective rules to the two above accounts. Okay, so it means what? After ascertaining the name of the accounts as well as the type of accounts, you have to apply the respective rules. Okay, so it means what? It is the debit or credit. For the personal, if it is the personal, if it is in the debit side or the credit side, after if ascertain the name of type of the accounts, then it will be the come under the debit side or the credit side. Like this we have to apply the rules. Okay, so this is the third step. Okay, so next, write the particular account to be debited and credited, and then you have to pass the journal entries. We have to pass in a debit side or the credit side. Okay, so like this we have to ascertain these steps. Okay, we have to follow this step. Okay, so now we will solve this problem, this how to, we will see example how to apply the rules. Okay, how to apply the rules. Okay, so now see, this is the problem. Okay, so now this is the what? Problem. Okay, so before starting the problem you should know which are those basic terms of the accounting, as well as you should know which are those basic concepts of the accounting, as well as you should know which are those conventions of the accounting. Okay, so these are the very important. Okay, And before starting the problem, you should know, it's very important, or it must for you to behead the rules of the accounting, the personal rule, real rule, as well as the nominal rules. Okay, so which are those basic terms? What in by capital, what in by stock, what in by assets, what in by liabilities, what in by debtors, what in by creditors. Okay, so each and everything you should know, as well as the basic concepts, what in by business entity concepts. Okay, was two aspect, dual aspect concepts. Okay, so you should know all these concepts also. Okay, so it's a needed for while solving the problem. Okay, so now see, keep in mind, so this is not the problem, so this is the problem, but this solution is what? It is nothing but the working note. Okay, so first of all we will see how to apply the rules. That's for that purpose we are taking the example, or we are preparing the working note. Okay, so this is not the problem. Okay, so it is a working note, how to prepare the working note, or we can say with the help of this example how to apply the rules. Okay, how to apply the rules. Okay, so now see this problem, and while solving the problem, keep in one mind this very important very important tips. What's the tips? Okay, so while solving the problem, we have to assume we are the business. What? We are the business. Okay, while solving the problem, we are the business, we have to assume. Okay, so it means what? While passing the journal entries, or while solving the problem, business point of view we have to solve. Okay, so we have to assume we are the business. Okay, so now see, first transaction. So business started with cash rupees 50,000. Okay, so this is the transaction, and first of all we have to try to understand the meaning of the transactions. And what's the meaning of transaction? So business is going to start. Okay, what? Business is going to start with cash rupees 50,000. Okay, with cash rupees 50,000. Okay, so now see, the first step is what? Find out which the two accounts affected in the transaction. Okay, so out of this account, name of accounts, it will be the affected. Okay, so out of this 24 or the more, out of the 24, it will be the affect in these transactions two accounts. Okay, so now see which are those two accounts. Business started. Okay, so business started means what? Some person or the one proprietor is going to start, and he is investing money in a business. Okay, so invested by the money by the owner or the proprietor is nothing but what's the capital. What is nothing but the capital. Okay, so we got one name of the account, which is the capital. Okay, so next one is what he's going to invest. Cash is going to invest. Okay, so it means what? So second account is what? Cash. Okay, so now see, so transaction number one and the solution, cash one account and the capital one account. Okay, so like this we have to ascertain find out the two accounts. Okay, so capital account and the cash account we got. Okay, so now the next step is what? Find out which class the above two accounts. Okay, so now we have to ascertain the types of the accounts. Okay, the types of the account means what? Cash, it is in the assets, and it will come under the real account, right? It will come under the real account. Okay, so next capital is related to the personal, and so that's why it will come under the personal accounts, right? So find out which class the above two belongs. Okay, so we ascertained. Now third what step? Apply the respective rules to the above two accounts. Okay, so now apply the respective two accounts. Okay, so now what's the real rule? So see here, real rule is what? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, and already I told you what I told, business point of view we have to think. Okay, so now see here, what? Business started with cash rupees 50,000. So this is the transaction. So now tell me, so cash it is in the assets, that's why it came under the real account. So now cash comes in a business or goes out in the business? So cash comes in a business because owner is investing money in a business. So that's why cash comes in a business. So it will means what? It will be the debit. Okay, so now see here, it is what? Debit. Okay, so it is what? debit. So third step, okay, apply the respective rules of the two accounts, the debit. Okay, so now capital, this is the account, and the name of the type of the account is what's the personal. Now what's the personal rule? Okay, now what's the personal rules here? Debit is the receiver and credit is the giver. Okay, debit is the receiver and credit is the giver. So now this owner is giver, right? Owner is the giver because he is investing money to the business. It means what? Cash or capital is giving to the business, so that's why it's the giver. So it will be what? Credit side. Okay, so like this we have to record the credit side, and the last step is what's write the particular amount to be debited and credit. Okay, so while preparing the journal entries, okay, so like journal we have to pass this. Okay, the 4 steps we will see. Okay, so I hope you will understand these 3 steps. Okay, first of all we ascertain the 2 accounts, and next type of the accounts we ascertained and we applied the rules also. Okay, so this is the first, this is the working note. Okay, so next entry was, next transaction was cash paid into bank rupees 5,000. Okay, cash paid into bank rupees 5,000. Okay, so try to understand the meaning of the transaction is what? Cash paid means what? Who paid? Business paid into bank. Okay, so business is going to pay. Okay, so we have to assume we are the business, like this we have to assume. Okay, so now see, cash paid into bank. Okay, so first of all we have to ascertain the 2 accounts, and which 2 accounts? So first account is what's they are what they paid? Cash paid. Where it is paid? Bank. Okay, so these 2 accounts, cash account and the bank account. So see here, bank account and the cash account. Okay, bank account and the cash account, 2 accounts we ascertained. Now which are those 2 accounts, types of the accounts? So it is the real or the nominal. Okay, so the bank, it is an artificial person, so that's why it will come under the personal account. Okay, cash it is in the assets, and the assets it will come under the real account. Okay, now apply the rules. Okay, so now see here, bank it is in the personal. Okay, so now see what's the personal rule? Debit is the receiver and credit is the giver. Okay, debit is the receiver and credit is the giver. And what's the transactions? Cash paid into bank. Okay, so bank is the bank, it is in the personal. What's the bank? It is what's the receiver. What? Bank it is the receiver because business is giving into bank, so bank is what's the receiver. Cash is a receiving, right? So it is what's the debit. Okay, so it will be what's debit. So here bank, it will come under the personal, and what's the personal? Debit is the receiver, credit is the giver. Okay, so bank is receiving, that's why it is a debit. Okay, so now see this cash it is the real, and what's the real rules? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. This is the, okay, so now see this cash paid into bank, it means what? Cash is going from the business. Okay, cash goes out. Okay, so cash goes out is nothing but the credit what goes out, so it will be the credit. Okay, it will be what's the credit. Okay, so next transaction is what's purchased goods for cash rupees 3,000. Okay, purchased goods for cash rupees 3,000. Okay, so now this is the purchase goods, so this is the credit transactions or the cash transactions. If it is one particular name is given here, then it is what? Here you can assume it is the credit transactions, but here they mentioned for cash. Okay, but they here mentioned what? Cash, so that's why it is the cash transactions. Okay, so it is not the credit transaction. Okay, it is what's the cash transaction. If it is there is only purchase goods from ABC, then it will be the what's the credit transactions, but they in front of that he gave here what? Cash. Okay, so that's why it is the cash transactions. Okay, so now first of all ascertain which type 2 accounts. Okay, name of accounts. So purchase goods for cash. Okay, so it means what's business purchased some goods for cash. Okay, so in these transactions 2 accounts affected, which are those purchase account and the cash account. Okay, purchase account and the cash accounts they are affecting. So here purchase account and the cash account. So next, which type of accounts we have to see? Which type of account? So see here, purchase. So purchase is nothing but what it is a expenses. Okay, so we are going to purchase, so it is a expenses, so it will come under the which type of account? Nominal account. Okay, so now see here, cash it is in the assets, so it will come under the real account. Okay, so now apply the rules. Okay, so purchase, so now what's the what's the nominal rules? All the expenses and losses debit, and all the income and gains, it will be the credit. Okay, so now see here, so purchase it is the nominal. Okay, it is the nominal because it is the expenses. Okay, so that's why cash goes out from the business, it is the debit. Okay, so next one is the cash, it will be the real, it will be the credit. Okay, so whatever we are purchasing, it will come under the it will come under the, it means what's credit? Cash goes out from the business. Okay, cash goes out from the business, that's why it is a credit. Okay, so like this. Next, cash sales. Okay, the next transaction is what's the cash sales. So cash sales means what's rupees 4,000. So this is the cash sales, means what's the business going to sell his goods. Okay, cash sales, it is also cash transactions. Okay, so in these transactions, which are those two accounts affecting? So first one is what's the cash, and second one is what's the sales. Okay, so see here, cash and the sales. Okay, cash and the sales. So now we have to ascertain type of the accounts. Cash, it is in the real, and the sales, it is in the nominal, because it is the income and gains. Okay, so now see cash and the real. So what's the real rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so this after selling, cash comes in a business or goes out from the business? Comes in a business, so that's why it is a debit. Okay, so it is a debit. Okay, so sales, it is a nominal. What's the nominal? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. After the selling the goods and services, cash comes in a business, it is an income for the business, so it will be the credit. Okay, so next, salary paid to accountant rupees 6,000. What? Salary paid to accountant rupees 6,000. So now in these transactions, there are two accounts affected, which are those? Salary account and the paid. So what paid? Cash paid. What paid? Cash paid. So in these transactions, two accounts are affecting: salary account and the cash account. What? Salary account and the cash account. Okay, so now see here, salary account and the cash account. Sorry, here written the by mistake salary. Okay, both in the salary. So now see here, salary, it is in the nominal. Okay, salary, it is in the nominal, and here will be the cash. Okay, here will be what's the cash. Okay, we have to record what's cash. So see here, cash here. Okay, so now see salary, it will come under the nominal, and what's the nominal rules? All the expenses and losses, it will be the debit. Okay, so business is going salary to the accountant, so it is the expenses for the business, so that's why it is a debit. Okay, cash goes, it will come under the real account, and what's the real rules? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out, and cash goes out from the business, that's why it is a credit. Okay, so next transaction is what's received a interest rupees 500. What? Received a interest rupees 500. Okay, so in these transactions, there are two accounts are affected, which are those? Interest account and the cash account. What? Interest account and the cash account. So see here, cash account and the interest account. Okay, cash account and the interest account. So now which type of account? Cash, it is in the assets, so it is a real account. Interest, it is in the income for the business, so it will be the nominal account. Okay, so now what's the real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so interest, they are what? The receiving, it means what? Cash comes in a business, so debit what comes in, so it is a debit. So interest, it is in the income, so what's the nominal? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. Okay, so it is, interest is receiving, so it is the income, so that's why it is a credit. Okay, so next, last transaction is what's paid to Amar rupees 1,000. Okay, paid to Amar rupees 1,000. Okay, so it means what? It is a payment. In these transactions, there are two accounts are affecting, which are those? Paid means what? Paid. Cash paid. Okay, paid means what? Cash paid. To whom? To Amar. Okay, so in these transactions, there are two accounts are affecting, which are those? Cash account and the Amar account. Okay, so now see here, Amar account and the cash account. Okay, so Amar, it is a person, so it will come under the personal account. Cash, it is and the assets, that's why it will come under the real account. Okay, so now what's the personal account? Debit is the receiver, credit is the giver, and so business is going to pay, business is to paying to Amar, so it means what? Amar is a receiver, so debit is the receiver, so it will be the debit, and cash goes out from the business, that's why it is the credit. It means what's the real? So debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so this is cash, this is the asset, so it will come to the real account. And what's the real? So real rule you know, so it is the credit goes out. Okay, so like this you have to solve the problem, and so this is what's the working note. Okay, actually this is the working note, like this we have to prepare, and then we have to pass the journal entries. Okay, so first of all you should know which are those rules. Okay, which are those rules of the accounts. Okay, personal account, real account, as well as the nominal rule account. Okay, so next you have to ascertain, you should know how to ascertain the accounts. Okay, first of all, for that purpose you should know meaning of these transactions, you should know meaning of the transactions. Okay, so it's very easy to pass the journal entries. Okay, so if it is any query with this concept, it means with this problem, or for the applying the rules, then you can contact me. Okay, so you can ask me anytime. Okay, I will help you for the understanding purpose. Okay, so thank you.